Hey, it's Kashuv. I'm here with Cabot Phillips. He has some questions for me. I'm going to let him do his job.
Finally. That was actually a good intro. I was worried about it.
Good job. Watch out.
We're here with Kashuv, man many of you know and look up to, Director of High School Engagement at Turning Point USA, and Second Amendment advocate as well, something I want to talk to you about. So when it comes to Second Amendment, a lot of young people, they're kind of quiet on it. They're afraid of speaking out. Why do you think it's important to do so?
Because the Second Amendment is one of the most fundamental rights for our country. It is of a huge benefit. It's one of the most historical landmarks of our country. And we've seen time and time again that guns save lives, and more guns in society equals more crime, equals less crime.
And so you're a student at Stoneman Douglas High School where the horrible shooting there took place, and many of your classmates came out on the other side. Why do you think it was important for you to speak out for gun rights?
Yeah, so when I first started off, I wasn't really super pro-gun. I never shot a gun before. I didn't grow up around gun culture. But I looked into the issue and I realized that, wow, this actually has huge benefits to society, and that all my peers were saying was completely contrary to what the facts were saying. So I knew that I had to do this, and I was propelled into this reluctantly, kind of defending the Second Amendment.
Okay. And so what do you think are some misconceptions people have about young conservatives and about also just young people that support the Second Amendment, guns, things like that?
Yeah, so a lot of people think that more guns equal more crime, but that's not the case. We were talking about this before. In the past 20 years, the gun ownership rate has gone up 56%, but the gun homicides has gone down 49%. So more guns don't equal more crime. So just as some statistics, there are 350 million around guns in the U.S. 66% of those are suicides. People like to say that we have to address assault rifles, that those are the crux of the issues, but they only make 3% of all they only make up 3% of all gun deaths, and 68% of those are suicides. So really, 1% of all gun deaths are murders with rifles. You're more likely to be killed by someone's hands than with a rifle. And what people don't know is that 80% of gun homicides occur with illegal guns, and the cities with the most gun violence are actually the top 8 are Democrat, and the other 2 are independent. So gun control, really, there's a high correlation to equal more crime.
When he said you're more likely to be killed with someone's hands, he was going like this, and I took a step back. I got a little worried that he was about to prove. You're about to prove.
Watch out, man. 100%. Gonna add one more number to that statistic, baby.
Those are statistics you're talking about, but my feelings tell me otherwise. Why should I have to listen to your
feelings, folks? Facts don't care about your feelings.
To your stats, and why do you think people are so quick to go with the feeling side of it and ignore that?
Inherently, you kind of believe that a lot of people like to villainize the weapon. And it kind of comes inherently to believe, like, after a school shooting, people will look at the gun. But in reality, the gun isn't the issue. And what really the untold story about all these school shootings is that it's really governmental failure. What happened in my school, there were 46 reports to the Broward Sheriff's Department, two tips to the FBI. Every single level of government knew about this, and every single one failed. So really, people will jump to the gun to solve the issue, but really the gun isn't the issue at all. I know a lot of times guns may be villainized in culture, and the left has been perpetuating this narrative for quite a long time. So people will inherit, every time after there's a school shooting, the amount of percentages for people who want gun control rises. But right after that, it goes down again.
And so, in closing, you're a man that many colleges are trying to get to attend. He scored I'm not going to embarrass him, very high on the SAT. You were #1 in your class at Stoneman Douglas, and you might be #2 now, though. I've heard some reports. Maybe, I don't want to know. #1. Very smart guy right here. So you're going to be going into, whenever you do go to college, an environment that is incredibly liberal. Yeah. Are you prepared to deal with that kind of bias on college campuses?
We know there's already inherent bias out there, but the reason why I want to go to a liberal college is because that actually makes you succeed more so. It grinds, it sharpens basically your intellect and on your arguments. The issue with me with college is that I'm conservative. So we'll see which ones accept me. I'm waiting for acceptance as a man. And we'll see.
Accept him. You need him on campus because, honestly, I think conservative students oftentimes bring not for you. I'm going to do this for conservative students in general.
Okay,
conservative students actually bring a side to the discussion in politics that most college campuses don't ever hear. And so if your professor is never giving you conservative ideology, you're missing out on an entire side of the spectrum, and you're weaker. I always say liberal students on campus are far less informed than conservatives, because if you're a conservative student, you didn't come that way on accident. You had to consistently arm yourself, defend yourself with facts. And so I think you're going to do a good job of educating people on what conservatism is about wherever you go. Keep up with Kyle. What's your social media where people can follow you?
Kyle Kashuv. There you go.
Kashuv. I got it right. All right, Kyle Kashuv, thanks for doing what you do, man. I'm Cabot Phillips with Campus Reform. Thanks so much for watching. If you want to donate to help us make more videos just like that, you can click right here. And if you want to be the first person to see all of our new content, click the subscribe button right here. Please, click one of them. Doesn't have to be both. One or the other. Okay, thanks.